Okay, we are live. Good morning, everybody. Sawadee, Tan Chao. Hope everybody's doing all right. It is a Tuesday morning, the last day of the month, February 28th. And I'm back in Bangkok. I'm now an American in Bangkok once again. Had a nice 4 days over there in Sangkhlaburi, Buri. Good news, the baht is over 35 to the dollar now. Also, it is very sunny and cool right now. Good morning, Mr. Tom. Sunny and cool at 67 degrees, high of 92, low of 61. Feel like temperature is 76, 61% humidity. Little bit of wind, 5 kilometers an hour, south-southwest. And I don't know if you can see, but behind me is over here, there, right there. That is Miss Beer. So we're here with the elite barista at Starbucks. They're very busy here. Busy place. I don't know which place is busier, here or over at the mall, but it's a very busy place. Okay, so today I'm gonna wrap up my trip to Sangkhlaburi, talk a little bit about some things that I thought about, things that I learned, that I discovered. Also the cost of getting there and staying in the city, which is very, very cheap, but I did it on the cheap, but still it's very, very cheap. So we'll talk about that. I've already mentioned the lady who I met who was blind, who she went blind. She had a brain tumor. Basically, one day she's like not feeling so good. She felt like she was low on energy. Next thing you know, she's in the hospital for 3 weeks, and then she can't see anymore. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the 23-year-old Scottish man, another guy fallen from his hotel room, and things are a little unclear about this, but he needs life-saving surgery apparently. And then I spoke to a young Mon girl in Sangkhlaburi at a coffee shop, of course, and she's stateless, which is a little bit odd because her father is Thai. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then also we'll talk, last but not least, we'll talk about the Khao San Road bouncer, or the bouncers in general in Thailand, and this tourist who said he thought the water was free but was accused of stealing it, and then everything that happened because of that, because that was just a shame. But the first thing is that when I went to Sangkhlaburi, I did it knowing that, you know, when you go there, you got to remember that this place is on the border. It's not a glitzy, glamorous place. It's not the kind of place, it's not a Vegas, it's not Pattaya, it's not, you know, Phuket, where you'll be getting the best of everything. It's not that kind of a place. It's more of a Kanchanaburi kind of place, which you can have those things there, but in this particular city, you're not going to really find a lot of high-end anything. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. For me, it was just, I just wanted to get away. I wanted to go to the Mon Festival. I wanted to see what's up, see how the place has changed, which to me, it changed very little. You know, I already talked about this, but the woman where I was staying, which I'll get into in a minute, the place that I stayed, she told me, oh, things have changed here. Things have changed. I said, really, what's changed? Well, we got a new 7-Eleven. It's right down the street. I said, okay. Now I said, isn't there a 7-Eleven? You go down the street, take a right, it's by the market. There's a 7-Eleven over there. She said, yeah, there's one there, and then there's one on the way coming into town. And I'll give you an idea of what this place is like. Over by the Mon Bridge, which is a very busy, popular area. I mean, it's just a small area. There's not one ATM. You know, there are little shop houses selling stuff, but there's not an ATM. The ATM is, you know, I don't know, kilometer away, 2 kilometers away, which is not all that far, but it's a little bit of a hassle. So you got to prepare yourself if you're going to go to the place. Now, that said, like I said, I like the town. I really like it. And the reason I like it is because it's laid back, it's mellow, it's my kind of place. The people are just really, really nice people. I met so many nice people on this trip. And, you know, I usually do meet a few whenever I go somewhere, but on this occasion I met at least a dozen people that were really nice to me and really cool to me. Not to mention the people that, you know, they're friendly and saying hello and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so I'm going to go over the cost of getting there and how I did it. And, you know, I went back on the bus. And actually, I left and I thought, I'm going to go on the train. And I'll take the train and then I'll take a minivan. Because I thought the minivan will be, you know, it's a little less comfortable than a bus. Although I was sitting in the front seat. But the bus, you know, I figured, okay, if you take the bus, you're going to be a little bit scrunched. You know, you're not going to get to move around, stretch your legs, walk around. And I was wrong. At least on the bus that I took back. On the way over, I went to Thailand station, 100 baht for a train to Kanchanaburi. Then I walked over to the bus station and stopped and had a coffee at a nice place. And from there took the minivan, which I had to wait about an hour and a half for the minivan. And it was comfortable. The guy was he was a little bit of a stickler for everything. You know, he wanted me to wear a mask, and I was like, I don't have a mask, and I don't want to wear a mask. I was getting ready to go. I don't want to go. I'll go some other way. I'll find another way. I'm not going to go by minivan because I don't want to wear a mask. I'm like, it's ridiculous now. As I stand amongst people that are all wearing masks. When's it going to be enough? Anyway, you know, I got there all right. The important point is that I got there alive. And sometimes, you know, the minivan drivers tend to be a little crazy, a little lead-footed, and, you know, they scare the people who are in the minivan. But I got there all right. That was, how much did that cost? How much was that? I think it was it 300, 200, and I can't remember. I will put, let me see here. I do have it, actually. 190 baht. Okay, it was 190 baht to take the minivan from Kanchanaburi to Sangkhlaburi. The train was 100 baht. The taxi for me to get from my house to the train station was 272 baht. Okay, and I'll go over all these, just the total in the end, and tell you, you know, what else I would have done or what I wouldn't have done, what you could do. So I got this place, and I had talked to the lady before. It's called Grandma's Home. Great name. I had no idea about the place. Usually I stay at the P guest house. This place was cheap. It was like between 250 and 450 baht. I was like, whatever, it's very close to the bridge. I thought, I'll give it a try. Now, The lady who runs the place, who is actually not grandma, it's grandma's daughter. She is the daughter. I don't know where the grandma is, but very nice lady. Her name is Fa. Just a wonderful lady. She helped me in so many ways, just little things. And now what I will say though is, if you're the kind of person who needs an upscale hotel and you want everything to be comfortable, super comfortable, then maybe this place is not for you. It was Grandpa is home. Thanks a lot. That I'll get to that in a minute. My aging, because some things happened where I just went, holy. I'm so. These people made me feel so old, and it wasn't intentional. I just felt so old being around some of these people. Anyway, she's not there when I get there. This is when I ran into the woman who is blind, who went blind. And I remember, because she told me September 2019 she went blind, and hopefully she'll get surgery and have her sight restored, but she's 76 years old. Anyway, I get into the place, and it's the kind of place where it reminds me of my wife's house in the South. There is no frill. There are no frills. There are no extras per se. But if you want a bed, you want a clean room, pretty clean room. It's an old style Thai place. You just want a room. You just want a place to hang your hat. It's fine. For me, it was fine. I mean, I'd rather stay in a 5-star hotel, but who wouldn't? Now, I will mention one other thing, and that is that there is no Western toilet. It was squat toilet only. And of course, when I saw it, I went, but no worries, I do my business. I can do my business wherever. It could be a hole in the ground. You gotta go, you gotta go. So keep that in mind, because I will put some pictures up. I'll have some video of it. There's a little garden, but it's not the kind of place that you're gonna spend. It's not like I stay at the Jolly Frog sometimes in Kanchanaburi, and that place is very basic, but it's been refurbished. They have a huge garden, and the river is right there, so it's pretty good. All right, and I think it was 600 baht. Now, I actually made a mistake. It wasn't really my mistake. I had the choice between a small room or just a room with a fan and a room with air conditioning. So I got the room with air. I figure, hey, why don't I splurge? It's only 400 baht a night. Come to find out, there is no air conditioner. There were 2 fans though, and the place gets quite cold, and I could have got a refund. I could have just paid, 250 baht for the room. And the woman even said to me, well, why don't you just get a refund? And I said, I'm not going to go through all that. We don't need to do that. It's not a big deal. So, there's Mr. John's woman. I guess she's going to get her nails done again today. I don't know. But yeah, that's her. It's somebody that just wants to wave at me. Anyway, so don't go there expecting the world. That's what I'll say. Grandma's house, grandma's home. That said, it's in a pretty good location. It's a little bit of a walk. I don't know, it might be about 2 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers to the market and to the market and the 7-Eleven and the ATMs. Everything's right there And also the bus station is there, and then there's a minivan station at the end of the street. So if you go on your way to get back out of Sangkhlaburi, on the way to go out, it's just a straight shot. You just take a right, and everything's on that street. The market, it's a small place. There's the market. There's a 7-Eleven. There's a little grocery. There's a little park, and then there is the bus station, which is actually at a food stall. I was like, I would have never found the place. Well, I would have, but I would have had to ask a lot of people. And then there's the minivan place. I don't know why they're not together, but it's probably because they're different companies. But they're on the same street. So anyway, so Grandma's place was 400 baht a night. The taxi from my house to Thonburi station was 272 baht. When I took the taxi back, I took it to the mall Bangkok because I needed to get some groceries. I wanted to make sure I had some food because I hadn't eaten all day. Like I said, the train from Thonburi station to Kanchanaburi is 100 baht each way. It's 100 baht whether you take it the distance all the way, the complete length of the train, or if you just stop in Kanchanaburi. The minivan from Sangkhlaburi was 190 baht. Now, the bus from Sangkhlaburi to Bangkok, 337 baht. But I gotta say, the bus was very, very comfortable. I mean, they have USB ports in the ceiling, in the roof now, where you can charge whatever it is you want to charge. You want to plug something in, you can do it. And so I think, there is a good chance I'm going to go back, and I'll explain why towards the end of the video or whenever I feel like it. But I think from now on, I'll go to Mochit, and I'll just take the bus. I think it's a better option than having to do the stops, okay? Because you have to stop in Kanchanaburi, then you have to go over to where the minivan is, and then you get the minivan to Sangkhlaburi, and then from Sangkhlaburi, you got to go wherever you're going to go. So it's one more stop. The bus goes direct. I mean, there are stops, but you don't have to get off if you want, unless you want to go take a leak or whatever you want to go do. All right, so now the food, I didn't add all this up, but let me see here. 63, 83, 133, 148, 258, 318, 418, 518, 518, and 9608, 668 bahts. 668 baht I spent on food, coffee, and drinks. Okay? And that includes, I bought some pork rinds for 110 baht. I had how many coffees? 1, 2, 3, 4. I had a tea. 5, 6. I had 6 coffees while I was there in 4 days. Okay? 668 baht. I did, you guys may remember, what is going on with my, hang on a second. I hate this thing. iPhones, this thing is getting squirrely about the light, the amount of light that I see on the screen, how bright the screen is. Anyway, I think some of you guys may have seen that I ran into a guy who was, gave me a little sob story about he needed gas to get back home to Burma, blah, blah, blah. I gave him 100 baht. Okay, so that fits in there. Transportation, I paid, what I did was I got phone numbers, and I need to put their phone numbers down below, so that if anybody is in Sangkhlaburi, you can use, I got 2 motorbikes, 2 drivers, and I thought they were both quite good. Especially the girl, she was great. She was fantastic. She just barely spoke a word of English. No, really, she probably spoke 1 word of English. Yes. But she spoke Thai, and she was, I believe she was Burmese, as are many of the people in the city. So altogether for transportation, I paid 330 baht. That was to ferry me back and forth wherever I needed to go. I went on the one day that I streamed, and I walked, I don't know, something like 8 miles, 10 miles, whatever it is, 15 kilometers. And I was tired. And I was like, I went back to the room, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get some more, whatever it was I was getting, water and some other things. And there was a little shop house that I went to and got water from, but I wanted to go to the 7. I think I had to take money out. So, you know, I just called the girl up. She comes, picks me up, takes me back and forth. Little trip was 20 baht one way. She took me over to the fights twice. I walked once to the fights. So, you know, the transportation, I mean, you know, for 4 days, 330 baht. I did buy a hat because I was worried about going out on the water yesterday. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? And I didn't want to get any more sunburn. So I bought a hat. It was 120 baht. Okay. And then I went to the doghouse bar, and I didn't have any drinks other than water. I had 2 double pork with cheeseburgers with an egg on each one. So double pork, cheese, and egg burgers, no bun, and 2 bottles of water. It was 310 baht. Okay. And then the other day, as you saw, I went on a stream on the lake. I went out on the lake. That was 800 baht, plus I gave him a 100 baht tip. That was 900 baht. All in all, it comes to 4,497 baht, which is about, let's say, 4,500. So right now, that's about 130 bucks, like $132 or something, for 4 days. It's not bad. That's pretty cheap. Now, I stayed on the cheap, and actually, I brought my own food because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get food that didn't have sugar and carbs and all that. It would have been easy for me just to go and get a bowl of noodles or some rice or whatever, or some meat that had a sauce on it. I could have done that all day. So I brought 2 Tupperware containers, 2 small Tupperware containers stuffed full of food with burger meat and with ground beef, chicken, sausage, bacon, what else? I think 2 kinds of sausages. So anyway, you know, maybe I would have paid a little more if I had not brought my own food, but I didn't bring my own food to save a buck. I brought my own food because I was kind of concerned about the food that I would be getting there and if I'd be able to find food that met my requirements. So there you have it. That's like 132 bucks. It's not bad. That's a pretty good 4-day weekend, if you ask me. You know, you can spend that easily in less than a day. You know. All right. So now that said, let me get to this bouncer in Khao San, and then we'll get back to the whole Sangkhlaburi thing. So yeah, this bouncer, he smacked the guy. He handcuffed this guy and smacked him twice, apparently, at the club Khao San. You see, I've read 2 different things. I've read first the guy handcuffed him and then slapped him, and now I'm seeing he handcuffed him and then slapped him. I didn't see the video. I haven't been able to find it, and frankly, I don't really care because who is? I view the tourist as a bit of a chowderhead. If there's water sitting out at a hospital, you presume that it is free. Because that's what they do. They give people water there. They want to hydrate people. They know they're sick people. Maybe people need water. At least in some of the hospitals that I go to, they just give the water away for free. If you are in a club, since when does a club give water away for free? I've never seen it in my life, and I've been in thousands of clubs, literally, in my lifetime. When do they give free water? It's like Starbucks. You want a bottled water, you gotta pay for it. Now, you want a little cup? Oh, shit. Forgot I had coffee in there. Say hello. They miss you. Howคิดถึง เป็นแฟนคลับนะ So, let's get this cleaned up here. Even at Starbucks, they'll give you like a little paper cup, unless you say to them, hey, can I have a big cup? They'll give you a little cup of water. They're not gonna, they're not gonna just throw you a couple of bottles of water for free. This is not a hotel room. So the fact that he says, oh, I thought they were free, first, he's a chowderhead for really thinking that, because who thinks this? Second, if you want a water, why don't you just say, oh, are these waters free? And third, he's in a nightclub, or a club rather. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna assume he's had a few drinks. So he's more of a chowderhead than he might normally be. That said, I will say, there was a time when I was working, this is all I'm going to say because I don't want to get into it. I don't want to speak specifics. There was a time when I was working in Thailand and some Thai guy smacked me on the shoulder because he didn't like what I said. I was saying exactly, I was just basically the messenger. And he smacked me on the shoulder like this. He smacked me hard. He did it like, he was pissed off. And I went after him. And like 3 or 4 guys held me back. Because I was so pissed off, because I know the reason that they smack you, the reason they do that is because it's demeaning. And that's what they want to do. So the fact that this foreigner didn't do anything was probably in his own best interest. Because had he gone after the guy, first of all, he might have got trounced one-on-one. He might have got destroyed. Second of all, another 5 bouncers might have jumped on him. And third of all, it's difficult when you're in that situation. You're the one taking something without permission. You're not sure of whether it's free or whether you have to pay for it. So I view it's his fault, but I do see that more and more of these guys at the clubs are smacking guys and beating them up. And it's always been like this, but the only way I can put it is Thailand needs to get their shit together when it comes to these kind of things. They're so worried about their image. Let me tell you something. Their image speaks for itself. There are some people that they've been to Thailand or they're aware of how things are here and they love it. They just understand that things happen and that there are knuckleheads out there. But all it takes is, I don't mean to use this all the time, this phrase all the time, but it just takes one bad apple. And this guy was a knucklehead. I mean, bottom line. Who knows what he said? I don't know if he said anything. I don't know if the video shows that, if you can hear any audio. I don't know. Let's say he's walking out and the guy goes, oh, you cannot take this water. No, I take the water. What are you talking about? It's free. No, it's not free. What? he tells him to piss off, and the guy gets pissed off and goes after him. Most Thais don't get aggressive unless you mouth off to them. Really, I cannot remember. I can count on on my hand the number of times that I've seen Thais get pissed off for absolutely no reason, and basically I could be a 2 or 3 fingered man and still be able to, and that's how many times in all these years. It just doesn't happen. You keep your mouth shut, you mind your P's and Q's, you say the right things, and you come out unscathed. And, it may sound strange coming from me, but fighting is not gonna get you really anywhere here, other than put in the hospital or put in jail, or just you're gonna be made to pay, So there's a moral in this story: don't be stupid in a bar, because not every bouncer understands, just like not every taxi driver understands when you say the F word. They may go after you just because of it, and you might be saying it in jest to your friend, and the guy thinks you're talking to him. And when I was at the fight the other day, there was one particular guy, and I'll just say it, the guy was an asshole. He was a straight up asshole. These people who work these fights, generally they are the same people year after year after year after year. D. Houston, don't ask stupid questions, please. I'm 60 years old. What do you think? You think I'm a professional boxer now? Please, have a habit of doing that. It's kind of like, I like to say it's is she a man or a woman? Another knucklehead. If you have any doubts, then what does that tell you? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, whatever floats your boat. But if you have to question, then maybe you just go, I'm going to err on the side of I'm not going to go there. So, let's see here. Maybe a little more than a few drinks, who knows? The point is that even under the influence of shit, well, yeah. And, these guys, I'm trying to think of where it was, but, it was in the minivan was one, and then this guy at the ring. This guy's there. He knows who I am. He's seen my face before. Now, maybe he doesn't want to acknowledge that he remember. I remembered him. I remember his face. I remembered he's part of the commission. I remember. So, the day before I had been on the ring, and I had been on top of the ring, in the corner, in the neutral corner, taking photos, shooting video. I've done that many times. They've seen me do it. And there are no foreigners there, and generally if there is a foreigner there, it's 1 or 2 foreigners. That's it. And maybe they're taking photos, maybe they're not. Maybe they're taken from outside in a chair somewhere. Now, I talked to somebody about this before, and they said no problem. I already got the permission. I'm always very respectful about this kind of stuff. So I was standing up there, and they're fixing the ring, so I backed up, and there happened to be a chair there. At the time, there was 2 chairs. I sit on the chair. I put my gimbal down on the other chair. I'm making sure I have everything squared away. The guy comes over and starts yelling at me. What? I'm trying to figure out what he's saying, but he's speaking, quickly. And he's mumbling. He's an old guy. He's mumbling. And I thought he was saying, you have to take photos from the seat. And I said, no, I don't want to take photos from the seat. I don't want to take video from the seat because the ropes are in the way. I don't want to do that. That's not how combat sports work in general, especially boxing, Muay Thai. You shoot between the ropes or you get up in the corner and you shoot over the ropes. That's how it's done. I've done it for many years. I've done it literally hundreds of fights, hundreds of shows. But hey, his rules, you gotta abide by. So I'm like, okay, whatever, you know. And then he goes, no. Then I realized he's saying, no, you can't sit here. This is where the boxers sit. I said, okay. And he's like speaking to me like he's speaking down to me. And I'm not like trying to be sensitive or anything like that. I wasn't sensitive about it. I'm not that sensitive when it comes to how people talk to me like that. But I was very aware that this guy was speaking to me like, you know, he didn't want me there. And I you know, believe me, there's part of me that wanted to go, you know, what is your problem, dude? I just moved over. Moved away from where the guy was close to, made sure I was out of sight so that I didn't block anybody's view. That's another thing that you have to be careful of if you're shooting a fight. You don't want to block anybody's view. Now, nobody's paying for the tickets. So, you know, and it is a bit of a promotion for their festival, but whatever. The point is that you don't escalate. I could have very well gotten pissed off and, you know, said something back to him and got pissy, but what good is that going to do? It's going to get me, like, banned from the event, or he's going to tell me to get out, leave, whatever, you know. Why do you feel the need to constantly tell us where you're going to be and when you're going to touch it? You tell me every single time. If you got something to say, please say it, other than I touched down in Bangkok on April 12th. It's enough already, all right? Don't do it again, please. You don't say anything else in here. You come in here, that's all you say. We don't care. What makes you think anybody gives a shit? I got no patience for you, this stupid shit. Seriously, I've bit my tongue long enough. Too many fucking idiots in the world. Have you ever said hello to me once? Have you ever said hello to anybody else in the stream? Have you ever been nice to anybody in the stream and said, hey, listen, this is my first time in time? You haven't said anything. So that's why I'm being the way that I am. And you've done this probably 20 times already. All right, that's enough. Now, getting back to Sangkhlaburi, okay? Yeah, I told you guys about the blind lady. Now, she did say to me, she gave me a good piece of information when I was walking by one day. I had a couple of conversations with her. And I may go back and actually do a longer kind of, I actually may get some help from a couple of people and put something together. Because she is 76 years old, and I think she feels like she's at the end of her life, and she wants somebody to document it for her family and just for her own, I guess just for herself. So she feels important, you know. So I may go back there, but she told me about this place called the Dog Bar. She said, oh, I've heard they have wonderful burgers there. I can't go there because I can't walk that far. And, you know, nobody, listen, the people who help her are elderly. They're her neighbors. They're all elderly. They're all in their 50s, 60s. And, you know, for them to walk out in the hot sun or at night and walk, say, a kilometer or two, I mean, you know, it's like, okay, let me... You know, it's difficult to walk with somebody who can't see. All right, Michael, take it easy. And so she hasn't been there. And I said, well, you know, let me give it a look. I'll check it out. So instead of having my normal meal that I usually eat, I thought maybe if they got burgers there, I'll get just like I did in Chiang Mai, where I went to this burger joint 2 or 3 times because they had great burgers. The price was quite good, and the guy was, and this girl who runs it's called the Dog House Bar, and everything is down below in the description. I've got the Dog House Bar, I've got the Grandma's Home, I've got the information for the Animal Sanctuary. They're all down below in the description. What's going on here? Anyway, so, I come back from the fights, settling in, taking a little rest, think I'm hungry, time to eat. Hadn't eaten in 24 hours. I'm like, time to eat. So, actually, the woman from Grandma's home, Fa, offered to take me down on the motorbike. She said, "Oh, you look so hot. You're red. I know you walked a long way today. Let me give you a ride." So she gave me a ride on the motorbike. Very nice of her. So I didn't have to walk down. Now, I did walk back. I go down to the place, and I didn't. Every place has got their own little story. So I'm giving a shout out to the Dog House Bar. If you're in Sangkhlaburi, it's the only foreigner bar, apparently, in the city. I didn't go to drink. I didn't even go to play pool. I have a pool table. I thought I saw a dartboard. And, they do have a pretty well-stocked bar, but they have food. So I'm like, let me see what I can get for the perks. So I ended up getting a double. They don't have beef. They have pork and chicken. So I ended up getting a double pork burger with cheese and egg, as I said. And I was like, you know what? This is not gonna fill me up until the next day. So I had another one. And all I had was water. Didn't have any beer, didn't have anything. And then before I knew it, this girl who was running the place, she had said to me, "Oh, well, this place is connected with the Sangkhlaburi Animal Sanctuary," which made sense because I was sitting at a table, and on the wall that I was facing, there's probably 30 or 40 dogs in photos that were up for adoption. And so the owner is the same. She is the owner of the bar, and I guess she also works at the Animal Sanctuary with the lady who used to own the bar. I don't know about all that, but I don't know the specifics. But the Sangkhlaburi Animal Sanctuary, they try to get people to get dogs from their facility. So that's part of the whole deal there. But anyway, I got my food. I sit there for a while. I'm getting ready to leave, and this older Swiss guy comes in. He's an expat. I think he said he had been living in Thailand for 6 years. And he'd been living in Sangkhlaburi for quite a few of them. Anyway, he's there. Then the veterinarian comes. Young guy, right? And we're all sitting at the same table. They're very friendly, it's a little expat hangout, okay? So if you go there and you want a little food, you don't have to hang out there if you don't want, or you can. You can have a drink, you can have a beer, whatever you want. Then, I guess the replacement veterinarian came in, who was a young Scottish-Malaysian girl. Very, very friendly, very cordial, very nice. I had a conversation with her. And then her friends came. And so you got there's 10 people sitting around. There's 7 girls sitting around. And there's me and two other guys. And the only guy, the Swiss guy, was an older guy. He was 65. And I'm looking around, and I just thought, I don't have the slightest idea of what to talk to these people about, because I'm at a different stage in my life. They're all kind of like, you know, oh, yeah, I live here, and, you know, but then they're going to go back after a couple of months, and, you know, it was a little bit different dynamic. I'm talking to the Swiss guy, then I start talking to the Scottish Malaysian girl. I can't remember what her name was. I don't remember her name. And, you know, we just talked about, you know, what she's doing here. She's a veterinarian. Why did she become a veterinarian? How did she become a veterinarian? Blah, blah, blah. And her girlfriends are there. And then I'm talking to the lady who owns the bar, the girl who owns the bar. She's a little bit younger. She's quite a bit younger than me. We're talking about music. I didn't know any of the music that was being played. And I just felt so old. I felt like a grandpa. And the Swiss guy apparently has sponsored a Thai or a Mon girl for many years, and she calls him Papa. And that's how I felt. I felt like I am, you know, Papa or Grandpapa or, you know. And I remember in the bars that some girl would go, oh, you same Papa, you Papa. You're the same age as my father. Well, now to some of them, I would be the same age as their grandfather. So it became very apparent, very quickly, you know, sitting amongst that group, that I was one of the older people. And I don't mind, you know, I mean, it just dawned on me that I'm not in those kind of social situations very often, because I don't go to many bars. And the thing is I had walked by the place once before, and I remembered seeing a sign, if you're under 20, don't come in here. And I thought, wonder what this is. I didn't even know what the place was. I had no idea. I thought maybe it was a karaoke or something like that. But there was like dark tinted windows. So I didn't really know. Anyway, so that was my little interaction there. And you know, they're doing some good work. They were telling me about the dogs and about what people do, and thank you, Mr. Tom. Appreciate that. Well, I'm sure you can relate, no offense, but I'm sure you can relate to being grandpapa. It's part of life though, you know. And getting back to the woman, her name is Jean. Well, that is her nickname, I believe. And she was a teacher at ABAC here, the woman who went blind. She was a teacher here in Bangkok for many, many years, and she retired. After she retired, she went blind, or I don't know if she went blind and then retired. I don't know how it works. But she, you know, she is older, and she had her time here, and I didn't even know she was blind. I had no clue she was blind. I thought she was just older and walking along with a cane. And what I didn't know is she was using that cane to feel for the grate so that she could walk along. She knew how many steps to get to. She knew how many steps to get to this Korean restaurant that she went to. And she knew how many steps to get back to her room. And those were the only two places that she went. Choke deed to you, Tom. Choke deed to us old folk. And you know, I'm 60 and I don't feel 60. I'm starting to feel a lot better since I've lost some weight. And I got more weight to lose. And you know, I'm a little bit perturbed. Carnival Chronicles, if you're listening, let me know what you think about this. And I have a few ideas. But I mean, I did not eat very much. From the time I left, I had a bulletproof coffee on Friday. all right? You know, coffee, butter, MCT oil. And I think that day I had a little bit of cacao in it. And then I did not eat until about 4:30 in the afternoon. And I had my meal that I had prepared, which was some sausage, chicken, bacon. I think that was it. Oh, and some cheese, okay? So, you know, I feel okay. But that was not a very big meal for me, even now. It's a little on the small side. The next day, I'm just busy. I don't have a bulletproof coffee. I have a couple of coffees, which, you know, staves off hunger a little bit. And by the afternoon, I was hungry. I had the burgers with cheese and, you know, egg and everything. And that did me okay. And the next day I had my other prepackaged meal. I come back and I weigh the same amount. I mean, I sweat like crazy. I walked all over the place. Yesterday I had, let me think here. I had 5 sausages, 2 burgers with cheese and bacon, and some kimchi over lettuce. That's it. I weighed the same amount. Now this afternoon will tell me a little bit more because I haven't eaten this morning. I had the bulletproof coffee, and I won't eat until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So just before I eat, I will weigh myself and I'll see what my weight is, because that's normally the time I weigh myself. But I haven't lost any weight. So my theory is that my body is changing. I'm getting some of the muscle that I had before. The muscle is coming back. The fat is being eliminated. My body is changing. And so that's why muscle is heavier than fat. That's why I'm not dropping a lot of weight right now. I just have to stay at it. And maybe I need to do some more cardio. But I don't know. I have to, you know, just keep monitoring it and see what happens. So, but yeah, I'm a little disappointed by that. All right, now, the story of the day, and this is a lesson to all you guys. Don't play with Asian women. You just don't do it. You may think, you know, you're big and tough and strong and you're all that. Haha, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, okay, you can. And it's just, the thing is, things can change in a split second. So the name of this article, which is found on in the Express website, I'm going to put it up here. The name of the article is "Man Has His Penis Cut Off by Girlfriend After He Threatened to Spread Their Sex Tape." Not the brightest move. Yeah, well, Ian, there's no way that I should be gaining weight. I'm not gaining. I've lost quite a bit, and my body has changed quite a bit. I'm just straightforward as I can be. I am more muscular than I've been in quite a few years. I'm a bit more ripped. The only thing is I still have a bit of a spare tire and a little bit of a belly bulge, and I need to get rid of it. I need to lose more weight. I want to lose more weight, and that's going to take hard work. That's the way I look at it. It's not going to be just diet alone. Diet alone will only do so much. That's the way I look at it. So I'm going to need to do I'm going to have to put some hard work in, which I'm okay with. Anyway, let's get back to this problem with the man and woman here. A woman reportedly sliced off her boyfriend's wee-wee when he threatened to spread their sex tapes. The boyfriend, 28, he's so young too, made the threat against his partner, also 28, because she refused to sleep with him again, according to local reports. She's said to have attacked her partner while they were at a hotel in North Sumatra in Indonesia on February 25th. The woman was detained by police, however, she has not been charged yet. The incident occurred when the man tried to make advances on the 28-year-old, but she said she was not in the mood. Witnesses said they could hear arguing. They could not hear arguing, but they did hear the howls of pain after the boyfriend's junk was removed. He was rushed to the hospital with blood loss and is currently in intensive care. Based on the suspect's statement, they had been in a relationship for around 7 months, so they made an appointment to meet at a hotel. Then the man asked to have sex, after which the woman refused. All right, she's got the right to refuse. Now, if she knows what's good for her, if she'd been refusing him all the time, I would understand him getting a little upset. You want to be boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife. Unless there is some extenuating circumstances, both of you should not be refusing on a regular basis. Sometimes it's understandable, though. Really, you got to give the woman the benefit of the doubt, at least sometimes. When he was denied sex, the man threatened to spread the videos of their intimate activities. Chowderhead move. Bonehead move. And this cost him severely. When he was ready to take a shower, the suspect carried out the attack. She took a knife belonging to the man and cut off his willy. A receptionist at the hotel claimed to not hear any noise from the couple's room until the incident happened. Then the woman approached him after the attack to request medical assistance for her partner. So she just wanted to stop him from, who knows, maybe he's walking around with a woody and she wants to stop him from trying to, get it in, and she sliced that bad boy off. Oof, that is just horrible. And that is something that happens on a regular basis here in Southeast Asia. The hotel worker said the woman admitted that they had checked in together and were about to leave for Nias Island. Doctors have given details of the injuries suffered by the man. We are waiting for a time to interview him. This is a police chief who was talking about this. So, do I need to reiterate for the millionth time? Don't play. You don't need to play when it comes to this kind of stuff. And if it's a regular occurrence where, you're down to like, you've got a girlfriend and you've been with her for 7 months, and she doesn't want to do the deed, you gotta say to her, hey, listen, you gotta sit down and just be honest with her. That's the way I would approach it. Be honest with her, and if she says, I just don't feel like it, okay, well, maybe we should separate and you should be with somebody who doesn't want sex with you. That's the way you handle it. All right, so the last article that I wanted to go over here, well, actually the second to last article is about this young guy who he fell off the third floor balcony. Now, this article is a little bit troubling for a number of reasons, and it begs some questions to be answered. The bottom line is, though, the guy needs to receive the care to stay alive. He's a 23-year-old kid, and he was, where is he? He was in Phuket, I think? No, he was on some island, I thought. Let's see here. He was on Koh Phi Phi. So he's on Phi Phi Island. And it does not say how he fell, but it says he fell from the third floor balcony of their hotel. and now he's in need of life-saving surgery. They had to, he suffered a fractured pelvis that is causing internal bleeding. They were 10 days into their journey, into their holiday. He was a personal trainer. Now he faces a race against time to raise an eye-watering 100,000 pounds to fly home for a second operation. The couple's insurance company are reportedly yet to pay out a single penny, meaning that Shauna, who is this guy's girlfriend, has set up a Just Giving page in the hope of attracting the attention of those online. After the traumatic accident, this is what really gets me. We had to get a speedboat from Phi Phi to Phuket so he could receive an operation at Bangkok Phuket Hospital to stop the internal bleeding and stabilize his pelvis. So imagine that, you've got a fractured pelvis and you're on a freaking speedboat. The pain that this poor guy must have been in, I can only imagine that. That's just, I mean, that's one of the problems when you go to an island. Unless you're going to be on a helicopter, what's your option? Get on a boat and go back, and you're hitting some big waves, and you got a fractured pelvis. Oh my! Without the hospital, without the work of the hospital in Thailand, the situation could have been much more grave. He currently has external pelvis fixations and cannot move from a laying down position. That in itself has to be difficult, because you know he's got to do his, he has to have his bodily functions, and he can't move, and it's probably painful when he does have to do it. The doctors advised that we fly home in an air ambulance for a second operation. However, we have been given quotes from 170,000 to 250,000 pounds without any help from the insurance company. Unfortunately, nobody is in a position to be able to afford this. After an exhaustive and tiring fight with the insurance company, where they are trying to get themselves out of the claim, we are yet to receive a single penny to help. They are now stranded in Thailand and have no means of raising the necessary funds for his second operation. The longer they wait, the increased chance he has of developing complications during his rehabilitation. We're now stuck in Thailand with no hope and rising hospital bills. We cannot keep up the payments or afford to get home. His family have exhausted their savings on medical bills. The hospital are pressing for payments, and we are no closer to getting home. I can only imagine the pressure from the hospital, because they are just, listen, you get them coming in, you can pay this? Like, I had just had something done to me. I had just come out of surgery for my gallbladder tumor, and I was out of it for hours. And I'm like laying there in a stupor, and this lady comes in. I'm like, who are you? Like, I was like, you're not a nurse. What do you want? Leave me alone. I want to sleep. I want to rest. And she's hitting me up for more money. And I'm like, come back later, honey. You got the insurance card. Get away from me. I don't like these people. That's why I don't like hospitals. I don't like traveling anymore, because I got to deal with people in the airport and all that. Yeah, I could look at it in a positive way. Oh, I'm gonna have all these experiences. It's great when you have positive experiences, when you don't have any issues. But when you got some knucklehead who's like, you know, one thing that bugs me is that they look at I've got a power adapter. It's got 10,000 written on it. The power bank. It's got 10,000 written right on it, and they're like calling in a supervisor to make sure it's not too big to fly. You know, I mean, this safety stuff, and this goes on with the banks all the time. There's another thing that grinds my gears. The banks always, it's for your own safety, sir. It's for my own safety. I got $300 in my account. How safe do I need to be? You know, I mean, really. Most of the time it's overkill, and it's for their own benefit. It's not for our benefit. Anyway. Let's see here. The family and I are trying our best, but our efforts are falling short, and we need help to get home. Any help would be greatly appreciated, and we are feeling at a loss. Now, I don't know what the moral of the story is, but what I'm wondering is, they did not give the circumstances of the fall. and I don't want to sound uncaring or anything like that. That's not the reason I'm saying this. But if he had been drinking, I would think that would negate the policy. If he had a certain blood alcohol level, maybe that would negate the insurance. I don't know. Which is maybe why they're fighting it. And they did not say anything about that. Maybe he was stone cold sober, and he just happened to slip and fall. Anything can happen. Now, maybe he was taking a selfie. Maybe they're trying to say he was doing that. I don't know. This is the thing. There are some questions that at least some people would like to know, and I'm sure the insurance company has discussed. That said, it would not surprise me, because insurance companies, hospitals and insurance companies, I don't like either of them. Everybody loves a hospital when they save you, when they help you. But when you've got an insurance company and they're fighting back and forth with the insurance company, and you think you got a decent insurance policy, they're going to cover you, blah blah blah. What's to like about them? Camera hog. Perhaps it was just a simple matter of, we don't cover falls from a balcony. I don't know. And that's another thing. It really pays to do your homework when it comes to insurance. And I mean, my insurance covers abroad only for, I think it's 30 days. But I still don't trust them. Definitely, if you're going to go somewhere, get in travel insurance, man. If you're going to travel, get the insurance. It's worth it. Like I said, I was going to go to Spain, and my wife is going to go, and she was still like saying to me yesterday, I can't believe you're not going. I want you to go. And, the tickets are about, now they're ridiculous. It's like $2,300, anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. So that's not going to happen. But I checked on insurance to go to Spain to insure me for, it was like a week. It was like $50, man. It was good insurance. I mean, the repatriation amount was like something like 2 million baht, which is very important. Or not 2 million baht, $2 million, excuse me. So it's important you get travel insurance. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's World Nomad, there's Travel Nomad, there's, what's it called? The one that I used to use, it starts with an A. It wasn't Amex. I don't remember. There's seven corners, I think, and I think that's the one that 2Q Asia uses. But it pays to have the insurance. And, I know there are some people out there that they don't ever want to have insurance. It's a big scam. Yeah, it's a big scam until something happens. So it's a risk. No, it's not AIG. Oh no, it's not. It doesn't start with an A. It's Travelex. That's the one that I've used before. I've used Travelex. I've used World Nomad. I've used. I can't remember all of them, to be honest. I mean, I've used various different ones. I try to get the one that has a good, evacuation ceiling, a high evacuation ceiling, so that if I do need to be sent somewhere, because if you look at most of the problems that these people have, there's some young guy gets in a motorcycle accident, a girl falls through the ceiling, or a guy falls off the balcony, or whatever it is. All of the problems tend to be that the insurance that they have is not adequate, or is not location specific or whatever. So, you know, you got to make sure that the amount is high enough. And apparently, as I've been told by many people, the repatriation and evacuation tends to be very, very high. Yeah, SOS, that's another one. I think I did use SOS before. Yeah, there's insurance companies all over the place. So it pays to do your due diligence, to really check things out. And who knows, maybe they did. That's the thing with insurance companies. And, you know, insurance companies and people in hospital administration who are the collectors, the bill collectors, they tend to be my least favorite people in the world. Among my least favorite people in the world. You know, I've already went over the story about, you know, like I paid the hospital when I had my gallbladder insurance, and then they're saying, no, you didn't pay. And I'm like, well, it got taken out of my bank account. Let me show you here. Then what can they say? They can't say anything. Yeah, but we don't get the money. I'm like, listen, that ain't my problem. That shows that you got the money. Okay, you need to contact your credit card processor. That kind of thing. You know, I don't like this. And then, what was the last thing that, there was a thing, I think it was, I don't remember what it was. I was having something done. I was having my heart checked or something. And they did a procedure on me where they stuck something up my thigh, and they were, I don't remember what it's called or what, it's been so many years now, and my memory is horrible. But I got done, and immediately they were on me about paying them. And I'm like, I basically told them, you know, get away from me. Because, you know, I'm not very nice when I don't feel good like that. It's like, listen, honey, get away from me. I don't want to talk to you about this right now. Let me have my 15 minutes to recuperate, to recover. Get away. And they're, you know, once you yell at them once or twice, they get away from you. Especially when you know, listen, you get your money, you know, piss off. And I, you know, not to be rude, but like sometimes it's like, it's probably 4 or 5 times, half a dozen times I've been in the hospital. And I'm coming out of surgery, or I'm coming out of some procedure, or they've got me, you know, I'm not 100% there. Like when I fell from the 4th floor in the apartment. I still remember. I'm completely out of it. I'm in shock. My fingers, I've got compound fractures in my fingers. I got fractures everywhere in my body. And they shot me up with a huge dose of morphine, and I was like, out, man. I've said this numerous times. I told this story. My wife is like, let me call your parents, and she couldn't find the number for some reason. This is many years ago. It wasn't like, you know, oh, let's just put it in the, you know, in the smartphone or whatever. I don't know if she even had a smartphone back then. She was looking through her little, you know, her little book, and she couldn't find it. And I'm trying to tell her their phone number, and we kept calling the wrong number because I couldn't think straight. And they're coming in going, we're gonna need you to pay us, and and I was like, I actually said that, you know, the F word, get away from me. You know, it was like, I'm gonna grab my IV stand and give you a whack. Get away. I may push you away with the thing. Because it's like, can you come in at any more of an inopportune time? I'm not even, it's like when Joe Rogan interviewed the guy that, I don't remember who it was, who was still loopy from getting knocked out. He doesn't even know where he is. And he's talking, I didn't get knocked out. What are you talking about? I didn't even get knocked out. What are you, I'm fine, I didn't get knocked out. And he's like, you did get knocked out. Well, that's the same thing. Okay, sir, you're gonna have to transfer 200,000 baht. Huh? What? What are you talking about? Anyway, So having good insurance is important. And listen, it's expensive. I haven't always been able to afford it. There were times when I didn't have insurance when I was here, but for many years now I've had it, and I think it's very important. So another moral to this story: make sure you have insurance. In this guy's case, who knows what's going to happen? I'll be following this to see what happens. Now, last but not least, Bangkok. I think this is a bit humorous, but Bangkok ranks 30th best. What is this title? Bangkok ranks 30th best city globally. Okay, and second best in Asia. Says famous tourism consulting company. I don't know how famous it is. There you go, Gennaro. I don't know how famous it is because I've never heard of them. Now, I'm not in the travel industry. I guarantee you my wife has never heard of them. The name of the place is Residence Consultancy, a leading global advisor in destination development. Now, I've tried to find a website for them, and I've tried to see who ranks number one, and they don't have any of this information. None of the articles that I found have any of this information. They rated the cities according to local climate, safety, tourist attractions, and livability, which I gotta say that at this point in my juncture in Bangkok, listen, there's a lot of great things about Bangkok. It's a modern city for the most part. However, it needs a facelift. They ought to do a cleaning campaign. The government needs to start giving away free paint, free wood. Apply for a grant to have your place renovated. I don't know, but they need that. This place needs a facelift. If you want to make it a truly high-end destination. Product in this category, factors such as airport connectivity, museums, university rankings, and event venues are evaluated. All right, I can tell you that I don't know how it rated on this. The people category takes into account the labor force participation rate and educational attainment of the local population. Now, there was one thing that I wanted to talk about now that I'm talking about education, but prosperity, global leading companies, GDP, employment rates, and income equality, cultural events, nightlife experiences, quality restaurants, and shopping destinations. Okay, there I would say that Thailand, Bangkok rather, rates highly. Also, online search volumes rather, and social media reviews. The government's work prioritizes developing Thailand in all aspects. Prime Minister Prayut believes that Bangkok has great potential for development, which requires cooperation from all citizens. It also requires money, which of course they conveniently leave out. The government also believes that many other places in Thailand have similar potential for the development. And I do believe that, listen, Bangkok could be a greater city than it already is. The air quality is shit. And that's one thing here. And people are complaining about it because it doesn't seem like the government's doing much about it. Even in Pattaya, the air quality is, or has been lately, rather piss poor. I just read a comment from somebody, and I believe it was 7 years ago that the guy wrote the comment about how's the air quality in Bangkok? Is it good there? And people were like, the air quality there is shit. Oh, people there don't realize that, yeah, okay, there's some modern things, but it's a shithole, and I hesitate to totally slam the city because I live here, but I can tell you it is. And listen, people are going to live in concrete jungles. It's how it works. People live in places that are lacking in some ways, but even the parks, the museums, a lot, and the pricing, the two-tier pricing. They need facelifts. They need help. They need new sidewalks. They need sidewalks where like a guy like Jono is walking along and doesn't trip and stub his toe and then twist his knee. Or me, because it's happened to me too. Because the sidewalks are so uneven and broken because the government's not going to do anything about it. And maybe they're really putting forth some effort, but I think that in some ways it's lacking. So 30th, I don't know that is all that good, and there is nothing that I can see here. Let me see here. I'm going to see if I can find it again real quick, because it should just take me 2 seconds here. The best city in the world is London, then Paris. Atlanta is number 50, which 50 is... Okay, here's the 2000, it just released its 2023. This is the one they're referring to, so I did find it. Let's see here. The best cities in the world. No more coffee. Spilled half of it. All right, where's this? London is the number 1 city. 2 is Paris. 3 is New York. 4 is Tokyo. 5 is Dubai. 6 Barcelona. 7 Rome. 8 Madrid. 9 is Singapore. So there's the number 1 in Southeast Asia, or ASEAN, is Singapore. Singapore is number 1. I don't know. Where's Vienna? Okay, here's number 10, Amsterdam. I love Amsterdam. Actually, I think there are better cities than Amsterdam in the Netherlands, but what do I know? I've only been there a few times, really, to the other cities, so maybe I'm wrong. Number 11, Prague. Okay, so Prague, it's understandable. Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco. How is San Francisco number 14 in the world? How is it above? I mean, I know it's a beautiful place, it's a scenic place, but don't they take into account the homeless rate? What is this? Let me see here their methodology here. Oh, they've got 464 miles of bikeways, including 50 miles of new car-free, car-light districts, or streets rather, in the past year alone. Okay, this doesn't really tell me anything. Their little methodology doesn't tell me jack right now. Number 15, Berlin. Number 16, Hong Kong. Listen, I can't get behind Hong Kong. I love Hong Kong. When it comes to Hong Kong and Hong Kongers, I love it. It's fantastic. It's actually, I would say it should be in the top 10. The only thing that, you could say really a little bit negative is the price. The pricing, the cost of living there is a bit expensive. Number 17, Washington. Number 18, Beijing. Number 19, Dublin. Number 20, Istanbul. Number 21, Las Vegas. 22, Milan. 23, Budapest. 24, Toronto. 25, Sydney. 26, Seoul. 27, Doha. 28, Abu Dhabi. 29, Osaka. 30, Bangkok. Eat, shop, and repeat in Thailand's intoxicating capital city and increasingly Southeast Asia's transportation hub. No, Bangkok ranks number 16 worldwide in their restaurant categories. I mean, the restaurants here, you can see that that's something. That's, you know, oh, you can, I do that, man. What did I do? Number 31, Vienna, Austria. Now, how is Vienna, Austria, or somewhere like Bern or one of these other places in Switzerland, Zurich, how are they not ranked ahead of Bangkok? Sao Paulo, number 33. 34 is Melbourne. Come on, how is Melbourne not ahead of Bangkok? Zurich, number 37, Lisbon. 38, Warsaw. 39, Seattle. 40 is Orlando. 41, Munich. 42, Houston. 43, Austin. 44, Buenos Aires. 45, Naples. 46, Copenhagen. How is Copenhagen so low? Transit build-out is everywhere, connecting more affordable districts on the city's outskirts. Yeah, I don't understand. Number 47, Dallas. Should Dallas be on that list? Number 48, Helsinki. What about Stockholm? 49, Frankfurt. 50, Atlanta. 51, Stockholm. All right, I'm going to stop there. That's good enough. So, I don't know. I'm not impressed with number 30. I think Thailand the Thai government should do something to, you know, they should go on some cleaning campaign. They should, you know, I mean, and a lot of times you see on the islands that the islands of Thailand, many of the islands, they'll go on some campaign, some foreigner will initiate it. And yeah, they get ties to help. But it's the foreigners who are initiating some of these campaigns. It's like, you know, they can say whatever they want, but the majority of people who live here are Thai. They're not Westerners. So, I mean, I think it's honorable that the Westerners are pitching in and helping clean up and all that other kind of stuff. But I'm not a litterer. I don't throw garbage on the ground. I don't do it. That's all you have to do. That's another thing. You know how easy it is? You go into school and you go, don't throw junk on the ground. You get plastic, put it in the garbage. Do whatever you got to do. It just irritates me. When I start thinking about pollution, especially some of the pollution here, they're just destroying this place. Eventually this place will fall into the ocean. We'll be long gone by then, you know. So then electrifying buses. Well, most of them are still propane gas, although they are changing over to electric. I just saw something about an electric boat, I think, blew up. Which city does Teeter take place in? What is Teeter? I got no idea. No idea. Oh, Yellowstone. I'm surprised they didn't put Chiang Mai on the list. You know, or Phuket, or just a little piece of information for those people who are looking to retire in Phuket. Phuket townhouses, condos. Are now owned by a large portion of Russia. 40% of the ones that are owned by foreigners are owned by Russians. So, you know, who are you referring to, Gennaro? You talking about the woman on Yellowstone, or are you talking about the barista? Yeah, what is teeter? I don't understand. Who's teeter? I don't understand. Teeter? Anyway. One last thing that I forgot about. You know, when I went up, when I finished the stream where I was out, I think it was the first day. No, the second day is the day that I went out on the water is the day that when I came back, I went up the little hill and went to the little coffee shop. Oh, I don't remember. You know, I binge watch Yellowstone, and then that's it. It's done. And then, you know, I wait for the next season to come out, and it doesn't come out for quite some time, so I forget the stuff. It happens all the time. I see shows that they come out, and then I go, well, Jesus, when are they going to come out? Oh, another year. After a year, I've forgotten what goes on in the show. Anyway, when I went up the little hill and I went up to the, oh, that one, okay. I went up to the coffee shop. There's a girl working in there, right? Just below the coffee shop where I was walking, and you would actually, instead of going straight and you go up the little hill to the coffee shop, you would turn left to get back to my room, go back to the area that I want to go to get back to where everything is. But there's a couple of little shops. As you walk out from the bridge, there's a couple of little shops. And there's one shop there. And it was a coffee shop. So I wasn't streaming or anything like that when I went there. And there happened to be this girl there. And she was all, you know, bouncing around, smiling. She's a cute young girl. Probably, you know, I don't know. I had a little chat with her. And it turned out she was Mon. And she said her mother was Mon and her father was Thai. Now, I don't know what the familial situation is. I didn't really want to delve too deep. But she is stateless. She can't go anywhere other than in the immediate vicinity. Very difficult for her to advance in her life. And I was like, well, can't you do something with your father? And she said something like her father went and he didn't have some papers he needed and they wouldn't do it. And so her life is in limbo, basically. She can't go anywhere. She's stuck there her whole life. Or until they make a change in the laws. But what really got me was she told me that she worked part-time, she worked 20 days a month. And she made 160 baht per day. Now granted, she's sitting there really not doing much, and she doesn't serve all that many people coffee or their little foo-foo drink. She doesn't have to do all that much, but let's say they get 20 customers. That's, you know, so every 30 minutes she's got to make a cup of coffee or make a drink. So I understand she's not going to be, you know, she's not going to be highly paid. She's not working at Starbucks. She makes 3,200 baht a month. She told me, out of the 160, 50 baht goes to a motorbike taxi to go and come back to work. 50 baht goes to her for food. She spends 50 baht a day on food. Her family doesn't pay for the food. She lives with her mother and father. Her family doesn't pay for like her lunch. She has to pay for it. Her family doesn't make much money. I don't even know if the father's in the picture. And it just made me think of all the thousands and thousands of people, the stateless people here. And I've been into a couple of camps before. And they're stuck, man. I can't imagine that. They need to get like authorization just to leave the city and go somewhere nearby. And you know, they have strict guidelines where they can go, what they can do, how they have to go about getting everything done, which I understand that. But you know, she was 17 years old. 17 years old, and I'm like, what options does this girl have? I mean, you could go, oh, well, find some foreigner and marry the foreigner. I don't know that that would do any good. You know, what's she gonna do? Marry somebody else in the same position? Probably. And you know, it just kind of, and like I said, I interacted with numerous people. There was the motorbike drivers. Because foreigners have money. Foreigners bring something to the table. If you're not Thai and the thing is, she's born to a Thai father. If you're not 100% Thai, you're born in this country, too bad. You're not Thai, you can't, and like I said, you will never be Thai. If you're a foreigner, doesn't matter how long you live here, you will never be Thai. And to me, this is an area that people don't talk about much. At least, you know, people in my circles don't often talk about. And, you know, listen, I'm not advocating for, you know, change. I'm not going out there doing anything. So, you know, I don't know what else to say about that, but I am willing to talk about it. And yes, it's sad. But how about you give them the chance to actually do something in their lives so that they help benefit society? Because, you know, what is, I was thinking about it. You know, what do most of the, these Mon and Hmong and all these other ethnic groups, what do they have in common, especially the females? They get pregnant at a young age, they're uneducated, and they have, their future is, in one way you could say it's uncertain, but it's likely that they will never progress, which is, some people might say, well, that's how the government wants it. Now, this girl, I asked her, I said, are your parents strict? Yes, very. And if you know anything about younger Asian women in some areas, I'm not saying this is how it is in all areas, it's not. But in some areas, some particular cultures, they live with their parents. They might be living with their parents until they're 25, 30 years old. And if they're not chaperoned, they don't go out. This girl said, I cannot go out with my friends. I cannot go out with, it doesn't matter if it's a girlfriend, if it's guy friends and girls. It doesn't matter. I must go with my parents. I can't go with a man anywhere, with a boy anywhere. I can't go anywhere with my girlfriends. If we're going anywhere, we're going with the parents. And I can tell you that my wife told me when she was young, until she moved to Bangkok, she was not allowed to go anywhere alone. She always had to have somebody with her. Crazy, you know. I mean, in some ways I understand it, because the parents are like, so they just don't want, them to get pregnant. They don't want anything happening. They know all it takes is one little slip up. I mean, you know, that's one way to put it. Just one little slip up and that's it. Their life has changed. So, yeah, I know. Listen, the thing is I view myself as very fortunate, because she's smart and she's a go-getter. And, you know, I think we're with each other for the right reasons. You know, I can carry on a conversation with her, which was, to me, that's important. I mean, you know, like, I know some guys are like, oh, I just don't want her to talk. She needs to be, you know, have a flat head and be, you know, 4 foot tall so I can put a beer on her head. I don't need to hear her. That's how some guys are. You know, I just need to be able to do my thing with her, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you know, it's like, listen, you're going to live with her. You might as well be able to talk to her and have a conversation and joke around with her, and, you know. But, you know, it did strike me that in Sangkhlaburi there were very few people that were foreigners, that were Westerners. Very few Westerners. Altogether, I think I probably saw half a dozen Westerners, and that was it. And that was mainly from Kanchanaburi to Sangkhlaburi, or on the way to Kanchanaburi. It was not in where I was hanging out. The wooden bridge, the temples, and the fights, and you know, the places that I went. There were no foreigners. And what I was going to say, and what I did say before, is a Westerner who doesn't know the game, who doesn't know the rules, we'll say, could find himself getting in a lot of trouble in Sangkhlaburi. And the reason is because if you don't, well, it's just like the woman who, you know, the guy mouthed off and said he was going to release their tapes. What did she do to him? Well, for some of these people, their only way out is you. You go to Sangkhlaburi, you think you're a bit of a player. They all know what's going on. People in the city know each other. Believe me, the woman who ran the guest house, they knew the doghouse bar knew them. They knew the people, they knew all the motorcycle drivers. They know everybody. So if you're there and you're a foreigner that just happens to live there, you need to tread carefully and watch your P's and Q's. Don't think it's Bangkok where you can just, you know, hit it and quit it. I mean, maybe you could, maybe for if you're lucky or unlucky or however you want to put it, maybe it's possible, but I would say in that particular area, you better mind your P's and Q's and do things the right way, which is according to the rules. You know. Yeah, I'm speaking specifically to you, Gennaro. Gennaro especially, because I know you're the one who will get in trouble. I mean, I'm not even talking about somebody taking the scissors and giving it to the duck. I'm not talking about that. I mean, that could happen, but I think it's pretty rare. I'm just talking about who needs to find a woman that's going to have many associated issues. There are going to be many problems. You could be a baller in Thailand and in northern Thailand, but this is not northern Thailand. This is Western Thailand. I would not say you could be a baller. Even in Kanchanaburi, I would say you're better off minding your P's and Q's. I mean, you might find some chick who's more liberal, who's willing to, I'm not saying there's not friends with benefits available, but when it comes to like the Mon culture and the Burmese, and it's a different culture than Thai, and even the Thais there. Most border towns are inexpensive for a reason. And yeah, I don't know exactly how to put it. Yeah, well, I can say that getting yourself a girl from the Mon culture or Burmese culture, it's definitely not, they're not the same, and they're definitely not the same as with the Thai culture. Find yourself a girl in Bangkok. Chances are she may be quite conservative, but still, she might not be. But even if she's a little bit conservative, she will be a little more open-minded and a little more worldly than some of the girls in Myanmar and on border towns, wherever the Mon are, or Hmong, or whoever it is. So, yeah, I mean, it's just information to keep in mind. File it away in the data bank. Chances are that it probably won't happen to you. I did meet a guy. I think he was in Ye, Myanmar. It was on my trip numerous, I don't know how many years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, where I took the train from like Mandalay down to Yangon down to Ye to Dawei, and the guy in Ye was married to a Mon girl, and he was like, man, she is the best wife. She's very traditional. So the thing that I realized and saw in Sangkhlaburi is that many of the people, there is a naivete to them. And I'm not saying, don't mistake that for being stupid or uneducated or whatever it might be, because I'm not saying that they don't have their wits, because they do. They're pretty sharp in some ways. But they are naive about many things, and I think, and very kind. And I think the right guy with the right Mon woman or Burmese woman, yeah, it would work. And this guy clearly was the right guy. He had a lot going on, and she was a go-getter, which I think is very important. You don't want one of these ones that she's going to lay around all day and do nothing. You want one that's got a little bit of ambition, and his wife had some ambition, and they had been married for something like 6 years at the time, 10 years, something like that. I met her at the Hard Rock Cafe in Siam Square. Yeah, but where is she? What is she? Is she Thai, or is she? Or is she Burmese, or what? Coffee break? I always found the Hard Rock to be, it was a good place to go, and it was the kind of place where you could go and just have some fun and go home. Or you could find the occasional fun girl, we'll say. But I haven't been there in so many years now. It's been many, many years since I've been to that one. I used to go there, and I used to go to, what was it called? CM2, I think it was called. It was underneath the, what hotel was it? The Novotel, maybe? It was on the ground floor, or the basement of the Novotel. She's Burmese. Okay. I used to, when I lived down Sukhumvit Soi, what was it? 2. I used to go down there all the time. It's easy to get there, close by. And now, life is much, much different for me. I don't want to spend all my time in a bar. And to be honest, the other night when I went out, I was like, okay. This place is all right. I didn't mind sitting with a bunch of young people. It was kind of cool. And I did talk to the one girl. She was a nice looking, girl, and she was smart, and she seemed smart. She seemed very smart. She had her head on straight. And yeah, it was nice talking to younger people, but I didn't go there because, I'm going to go drinking. I just don't do that much anymore. And, maybe it's an age thing, maybe it's a responsibility thing, I don't know. Anyway, so the old one was better. Well, I was there 29 years ago. Well, yeah, that place was kicking for a long time. I don't know what's going on there now, and I don't, like I said, I'm out of that whole scene. Been out for a long time now, and that's fine with me. I'm sitting in the place the other day. I had my burgers and a water, and I finished up my water, and I was like, oh, maybe I should go. And then the guy came in, the older Swiss guy came in, and we started talking, and then I was like, let me get another water. And I'm sitting here in a place, and granted, it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant / bar. It's a pub, basically. Well, I guess it's called the Doghouse Bar, so it's a bar. With the food, they serve food also. But I didn't go there I didn't go there thinking, oh man, I'm going to the bar. For a split second, I thought, I'm allowed to drink clear alcohol. I could have myself some tequila. But I didn't. Sat there drinking water, which is what I did at the end of my time when I was hanging out in the bars, many years ago. I drink water, and then I would drink a Red Bull or something, I drink a soda. Now it's like, okay, maybe I'd have a beer maybe, but I just didn't feel like it, Anyway. Gennaro, that place is closed, man. Shut down, baby. No more you hunt, we cook. Oh, God, yeah. When I was young, I used to be hungover, and I'd go, God, I feel so bad. And I just did the work. As I got older, I thought, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do anything. And I would do it anyway, and I felt that I performed better because I didn't think about it. I wasn't trying to think too much. I just went through the motions and got it done. But now, listen, you think about it this way. I can travel a bit. I've traveled quite a bit. And I can still travel. I can have my fun. I can, I could do nothing but travel, really. If I really wanted to do it, I'd have to do it on the dirt cheap. Kids are getting older. We could probably get away with it. I don't know. But I can travel, right? But you know what? I don't mind being at the place, but I've said this 100 times. I don't mind being at the place. I just don't want to have to go there and come back. Now, I will say this. The bus ride on the way back was almost perfect. However, on the way back, we were about 2 hours away from Bangkok, and the bus broke down. And I thought, oh no. And then it started, it was really hot out. The bus starts getting hot. I start breaking a little bit of a sweat. Everybody's closing the curtains so that they don't have to deal with the heat. And we sat there for about an hour. And I guess the driver is also, doubles as a mechanic. And somehow he managed to fix the thing. Because I thought, if they got to take all the bags out, they got to wait for another day. I'm not going to get home until the next day. But fortunately, it was really good. Okay, 337 baht. It was really a nice experience. There weren't too many people. There were open seats. I just put my bag next to me. They do make some stops. Made a stop in Sangkhlaburi, and I was absolutely starving. And I thought to myself, you know what? I can still have this, and I can go home and have something else. By the time I get home, it'd be another 4 hours or so, 4 or 5 hours. I said, I'm just gonna I was looking around for food, didn't see anything, and then just before I got on, I saw they had the hot dogs on a stick, which I don't really like. They're not the tastiest of dogs, but I bought a couple hot dogs. They were 10 baht each. I was like, this will satiate me until I get home. And then even when I went home, I didn't have all that much food. I don't know. I wasn't that hungry, so. But anyway, it was a good experience. I don't know if you hunt, we cook, or whatever the other place is called that's next to it. The pier, whatever. I forget what it was called, but I don't know if those places are going to go back up. If there's a portion of the grocery that is still shut down, and there's various malls undergoing renovation right now. So, I'd like to see what some of them look like. But I've got the before video and photos, and eventually I'll get that video up. I don't know if I'm going to put the video up of this woman, Jean. I don't know if I'll be able to put it up on Wednesday. I don't know if I want to put it up on Wednesday, but I'm going to stream on Sunday of this coming. Wait a minute. No, I'm not going to stream on this Sunday, because Sunday is the John Jones fight. Yeah, here in Thailand, Sunday is the John Jones. So I think I'll be streaming on Saturday again. Today is my wife's birthday. Of course, she's 21. But I won't have that video up any later than Saturday morning. I might have it up Friday night. I don't know. I need to look and get it done. But I'm anxious to put that up because she was such a lovely lady. And I know maybe I come off as a little abrasive or a little hard, a little harsh at times, but when it came to this woman, I just felt like she was the nicest. But actually, Fa, the woman who is the owner of Grandma's home, also just wonderful, very kind women. I'm not in relationships with them, but you know what I mean. Okay, I will give her your regards. But they were so nice, and this woman, Jean, she left what do you say? She made a mark on me, so to speak. She left a really good memory. I won't forget her. And there is a chance I'll go back and interview her and talk to her and there's also a chance that she may get surgery here in Bangkok in the next couple of months. So anyway, yeah, happy birthday. She just turned 21. She wishes. So we got a lot going on here. More than you guys know, and more than I don't need to tell you every little thing. I already tell you guys enough. But yeah, that's what's going on. So hopefully enjoyed the stream. Leave a thumbs up if you hadn't done so already. You lurkers out there, do me a favor, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe. Go to my website at anamericaninbangkok.com. Get yourself a shirt or a mug or a hat or whatever. My book, one of my books. And consider becoming a member of this channel. And thank you, that is all. Until next time, I am Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok, back in Bangkok from Sangkhlaburi province. And I have another place there I want to go to, so that most people don't know about. There's two places most people don't know about that I want to get to in the next few months. So anyway, I shall see you guys later. I will see you when I see you. Be well, take care. I'm gonna go enjoy the day and get a couple of things accomplished. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.